Hi, good evening. Thanks for tuning in to the Giants Rundown for Saturday, March 5th, 2011, from Phoenix Municipal Stadium. I'm Andrew Baggerly, and thanks again for tuning in. Giants played probably their worst game of the spring today. They lost 6-0 to the Oakland Athletics, and really wasn't a whole lot of positives out there for the Giants today, other than Madison Bumgarner. 4 errors and 1 right off the bat. Mark DeRosa skipped a throw, and Brandon Belt wasn't able to get his foot on the bag quite long enough, and that opened the door for a very difficult first inning for Madison Bumgarner. I definitely had to start executing some pitches just to get through that inning and hope to go a little deeper into the game, and he did a reasonably good job of that. Ended up pitching 2 nice innings after that first inning, and so it ends up being 3 innings for him, 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and the 1 run he allowed was unearned. Bumgarner, it's funny, we had an interview with him after the game, and he said a couple times that he didn't really understand a lot about pitching mechanics before last year when he went through the struggles last spring and then early in the season at AAA Fresno. You know, he's a guy who just has dominated hitters everywhere he's gone, from high school in North Carolina and just running through the lower levels in the minor leagues. And I think if you follow a lot of the prospect reports, you know that early on coaches really tried to tinker with Bumgarner's mechanics. His first year at Augusta, the season before last, he had a couple of rough starts, and he basically said, no, I'm going to go back to throwing the way that I'm throwing. He can be pretty bullheaded at times and admits that that was definitely going on. He needed to fail a little bit to understand that there were some ways that he could improve as a pitcher, maintain his velocity, have a consistent arm slot, and be able to put his pitches more reliably where he wants to put them. And that's why you saw him throwing 94 miles an hour late in the season and into the playoffs. As you know, this time last spring, he was just struggling to hit 87, 88. Everyone's wondering if well, it turns out he wasn't hurt. He just really wasn't throwing very efficiently. He's much more direct to the plate now, even though he's still sort of syrupy, slings it. There's some good deception in that delivery as well, and he's throwing a little bit harder. He had a great quote. He said, "I never knew I'd know as much as I know right now." So definitely not quite a malaprop, but a colorful way of expressing that, and that pretty much sums it up where he is in his career. So Bumgarner looked good. He's certainly going to be relied on in the Giants' rotation this season. Ramon Ramirez gave up 3 runs in 1 2/3 innings. Ryan Verdugo gave up 2 unearned runs as well, walked 3. Verdugo, as I think I've mentioned in the past, lefty with really good stuff and great strikeout to walk ratio in the minor leagues, over 12 strikeouts per 9 innings, but walks have really been his undoing, even in the Arizona Fall League, and so his wildness got him a little bit today. Thomas Neal, who hit a home run, tie-breaking home run last night against the Dodgers, was a big moment for him. Today, not so great moment. He broke in on a ball that he should have broken back on. Looked like he was going to recover, but the ball went off his glove, and that led to some damage there. Also, Charlie Culberson had a ball. It took a little bit of a bad hop, but he tried to make a sort of a smothering stop and wasn't able to knock it down. But other than that, Culberson has been playing some pretty good defensive second base, and has a nice arm that plays pretty well over at second base. He tends to sidearm it as well, but he does get some pretty good carry on his throws. And other than that, there really wasn't a whole lot to dwell on from this game. Aaron Rowan struck out twice and drew a walk in his 3 trips. DeRosa had a hit. Brandon Belt had a hit right after Brett Anderson had struck out the 2 hitters before that. That would be DeRosa and Pat Burrell. And I'll tell you what, Brett Anderson looked great today. His off-speed stuff looked really good. He struck out 5 and allowed 1 hit in his 3 shutout innings. I guess his first outing, so Joe Stiglich, my colleague, tells me wasn't as good, but I'll tell you what, he looked very good today. So that's about it from here in Oakland. As you know, Brian Wilson is going to be making his Cactus League exhibition debut tomorrow. The Beard will get the Seattle Mariners. That should be interesting. Matt Cain, I tweeted that news earlier today. He did about 8 minutes of 60 a toss, and he's going to do a little longer toss tomorrow, provided everything feels good, 90 feet. He said that he might even have Taira Uematsu, one of the bullpen catchers the guy who's the Japanese Swiss Army knife around here for the Giants on their coaching staff, throws batting practice, does everything. He said he might have Tyra go down into a crouch and do a little flat ground work, which means that basically Cain would be throwing out of his windup or stretch or what have you, but simulating his delivery just off flat ground. That's if he feels good. So Cain is not his next start. That'd be Tuesday. Ryan Vogelsong is already listed on the game notes to start. I think we all knew once we found out that Cain had a sore elbow that he was going to miss more than one start. But they might get another MRI and just check and make sure everything looks good. That's my speculation. You certainly don't want to take any unnecessary risks with Matt Cain this early in spring. I asked him, do you have time to do everything you need to do, build up your pitch count? And he said, yeah, he did. But he's the kind of guy where he could go surfing and a shark could bite off his arm, and we'd ask if he's okay, and he'd say, oh yeah, that's fine, it'll grow back. So don't expect Matt Cain really to complain a whole lot. Anyway, so that's about it for today, and the Giants will be in action again tomorrow. Brian Wilson, Seattle Mariners. We'll put another video blog up, and do check out all the other newspaper work, including a feature on Brandon Belt, Buster Posey, and what it means for the future of the Giants farm system in terms of producing bats, which has been a problem for the last decade and a half. But these guys could be ushering in some changes there. So that's it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow from Arizona. Good night, everyone.